G'day, it's Amber here from Garden Tara. I'm camping in this beautiful spot. You can see the creek, the forest. When I got up this morning, I was having a cup of tea, looking at all my surroundings and going, what a magical spot. I bet there's an abundance of food here, and you know what? I have no idea what bits are food and what bits aren't. I just don't know how to identify it. Anyway, not long later, maybe half an hour, two young blokes arrived. And I noticed that they were prodding and poking just in the embankment of the driveway over there. So I got a little bit curious. I was wondering what on earth they were doing. Were they gardening? So I went up and asked them. Turns out they were foraging for food. Meet Nick Blake from Wild Forage Australia. G'day, Nick.
Hey guys, how you going? Up here in the beautiful hinterland. We've come away from the urban environment out to the beautiful hinterland landscape. And today we've got all this beautiful stinging out over here. That little sting is actually from the formic acid that's behind the leaf and on the stem. That's what actually gives you the sting. This is a true nettle. There's other species that we're picking along the roadside this morning, and that's called red dead nettle. And that's not actually a true nettle. It's a false nettle because it doesn't actually give you the sting, and it's part of the mint family, but it looks very much like a nettle. I picked these up as well. This is a common weed species called pink wood sorrel. It has a little pink flower, and the actual taste of it is very lemony, and it's got this real, I suppose, a little bit of light acidity, and that's due to malic acid. So these are high malic acid. Same as, you can't eat too much of this. Same as spinach. If you eat a lot of spinach, you get an upset stomach because of that natural compound. But it's lemony, fresh taste, so very cleansing on the palate. But flowers you can pick and forage as well, but they don't hold up very well, especially when you put them on ice to protect them. And then here, if you look closely in here, this is hairy bittercress. So a little beautiful, delicate herb. I think it has a lot of potential as a pot herb.
Nice little white flower.
Nice, beautiful peppery taste. There's actually some true watercress that's just growing around here as well. And if you look down even lower, this tends to look like wild carrot, but it's also known as slender celery. The two species are very similar. The way to distinguish it is if you crush it in your hands, you get this beautiful sort of delicate celery smell. If it doesn't have that smell, then it's a wild carrot. And you've got to be very careful you don't get that mixed up with hemlock, which is very poisonous as well.
Right.
So you just got to, I suppose if you're out there foraging, you're looking at wild herbs, there's a lot of field guides out there that you can get. And that's probably the best way to go about it. But I recommend going with someone that, I suppose, at least been doing it for a while and knows what they're doing. But if you're interested in it, maybe you can get in touch with me or have a look at Instagram, and if you find things in the wild, send me a message. So just like today, we just bumped into each other and we share that same passion. And it's just about sort of collaborating and getting that knowledge of wild weeds and what's edible in the landscape out there to people so they can use it.
Excellent. Now I can see a common one here.
Yes, that's it.
This one there.
That's not cobbler's peg. That's a different cobbler's.
Right.
That looks like cobbler's peg,
It does.
which is an edible weed. It's a bit smaller. I'm not 100% because it's normally a lot more hardier than that.
Yeah.
The cobbler peg flower has this sort of beautiful flavour of almost like sage and parsley, and then down the bottom where the flower actually connects, that little green bit there, it's a real strong sort of green herbaceous taste. Very, I suppose, packed in chlorophyll, so it really coats your mouth. But you can put them in salts and vinegars and sugars if you collect enough of them, and you can do all sorts of things.
So you can eat the flowers of cobbler's pegs.
100%.
And farmers'
definitely.
friends.
Yeah, 100%.
Wow.
And even the leaf as well.
That's a great use for a weed.
The young, see that's a better example of the slender celery. This is beautiful in a pickle. So if you make a sweet pickle.
So you pick that here, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you make a sweet pickle, you can steep these, and if you put it into hot pickle, it'll just draw out all the hardy tannin flavour, and there'll be really not much left. So you kind of just want to sit it in a cold pickling solution. All that beautiful celery flavour actually infuses in beautiful and pickled onions and like in bread butter and pickles and things like that. So yeah.
What an excellent use of what otherwise we would call weeds, huh?
Exactly right.
Eating them.
100%.
Now I can see a farmer's friend.
That's it.
Right.
That's it up there.
Farmer's friend or cobbler's pegs, depending upon what part of Australia you're from.
That's it. And those little leaves, the baby ones, they can be eaten like parsley. But more stringent, not as sort of soft as parsley, but it's definitely edible. And these are the common little bitty things that they get stuck on your socks. That's a telltale sign.
Hair. So you were saying the flowers are edible?
Yeah, 100%.
So that one looks like
the whole plant's edible.
Right.
Won't poison you or anything, but yeah, but very strong herbaceous sort of taste up front, but the little pollens, it's sort of like, I suppose when you look at this, I think of wild fennel, you know. Yeah, it's the same sort of thing. It has that same sort of, I suppose, flavour, but it
Yum.
definitely has all these different other
Okay.
things going on. Yeah. That one's Rambling Dock, or Turkey Rhubarb. It's from
Hang on, slowly.
from South Africa.
So this one here?
Yeah, this one.
Right.
Because the shape's almost like a spade. You can see how it grows too. It's, you know, I suppose it's more common to me to see it and know what it is, but well, this one's really nice, very sour taste, similar to sort of oxalis. Just there, see how it grows on this central stem?
Right.
Yeah, that's the stem. There's all sorts through here, like watercress, and that's all oxalis there too. So different from clover. So oxalis has a heart-shaped leaf, whereas clover is flat, but has the same as trifoliate, so 3 leaves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this one's a common one.
Yeah, there's one that looks similar to that. It's not that one. That's called scurvy grass, sorry, and it has a little blue flower.
Yeah.
That's edible as well.
Now, being by a roadside, I mean, this is a driveway to a campsite, but I would worry if I was foraging on the side of a road of pesticides and
100%.
you know, your glyphosates and your dicambas. So
you can see a lot of that too when they spray it along the embankment. It's either probably a single colour. You know, you can look where council normally spray around, I suppose, bins and things. This is not really touched. Like, we did a sort of walkthrough, I suppose, before, and we looked at all the low growing foliage and then what's up on top.
well, you can see with these mosses that it hasn't been sprayed in a good time.
So this would all be obviously leached, and there'd be a definite, I suppose, standing colour on the soil as well. But you can see, you know, you're pretty good at those things. If you're foraging along the roadside, normally there's a spray line where they've sprayed right up to the fence, and you know, where you don't have flowers and little delicate leaves and things, I suppose you know straight away if you can't find those things that those areas are being sprayed. But it also comes down to seasonality too. If it's very dry, it's, you know, it's been very arid, and those things won't dry as well. But spraying and things, I've got a pretty good idea now where council will spray and what areas to stay away from.
Carpobrotus glaucesians is another awesome native Australian edible plant. When I was visiting Rainbow Beach recently, I came across some Carpobrotus glaucesians just on the beach. It's got a gorgeous pink flower. Native stingless bees absolutely love the flower. Said to be very high in vitamin A. Cook up the leaves, apparently. Cook up the flower head or the fruit after flowering. Yum yum.